Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. As we saw in last episode, Jackson is right on the verge of being able to accept goods. It looks like we lost that between the last video and right now, so we do know it's coming. It's just not fully here yet. I suppose it'll probably be coming and going for the next little bit until the town finally establishes itself as being large enough to actually require it. So with that, I think now we can connect up our tracks and have a cargo train coming from the goods factory all the way over to this train station with Jackson and Scottsdale. So let's start off over on the goods side of things and get our tracks coming out of this way. So we're gonna follow this out of the goods factory and just follow this road. Now I think we might have to pull back this hill so we can get our tracks to curve around the edge, and that doesn't look too bad compared to what it was before. But hopefully we can get a curve in here that'll allow us to keep as much of a top speed as possible. Alright, so it looks like the best we're going to be able to do is 68 miles an hour, but that's perfectly fine. So we'll bring those two tracks around the corner, and now we can just sort of snake our way around on this plateau and then figure out how we're going to connect up to these tracks over here. Alright, so we're able to get our track all the way out to here, and now thinking about how we're going to connect up, I think we're going to bring it around and follow this flat area all the way until we get to here, where we might try to tunnel under these tracks and then pop out over on this side and then run two tracks on this side for our cargo trains. So let's bring this around to the front of this hill, and we'll just keep going to about here, and we'll drag this along with it. And then I think if we keep this height, we should be good, because yeah, we'll pop out right about here and we stay pretty much flat, which is exactly what we want. So then we can bring the other track around and connect that up, and now we should be good to hopefully at some point drop down and snap to the side of these tracks. So now that we're here, we can pretty much follow these tracks all the way down, so long as we get this to continue snapping to the side. I think we're going to bring the tracks all the way down until this area, where then we'll branch off and then connect up over to that station. So now that we're here, we can branch off, and I think we'll probably stay over in this area and then at some point cross over and connect into the station here. So maybe now's a good time for us to start from this end and figure out where we're going to go from this side. So I think how we're going to start over here is by coming into a tunnel, because that just provides the easiest way to come in and out of here without road crossings or bridges or doing anything weird like that. So now from here, we should be able to bring this around to somewhere in this area, and then from here it should be a pretty straightforward connection to these tracks over here. Alright, so now we have our track connected up. Let's come through and fix some of the terrain in some areas, and then from there we can start to detail each end of this line. Alright, so I think we have the terrain situated. we just flattened out the area up top here to give this tunnel a little bit more height to go underground. And then over here, we sort of raised up this hill to make this tunnel exit look a little more natural. We might end up changing this later on if the city grows out this way, but I think for now this is good. So now that all the terrain work is pretty much done, let's get into detailing, starting over here, probably at the goods factory, since this area is a little bit better prepared than the station over in Jackson. So let's get into sort of figuring out what we want in this area. Alright, so we have our area laid out for what we're going to do. And so I think the way we're going to go about this is maybe we'll try to fit a warehouse here, and then coming up this way we could try to have some parking over here, and then these little areas on the sides will just be for extra storage and maybe some auxiliary equipment, perhaps, if there's something that looks good. So let's get trying to fill out this area, and then we'll be back once we have a lot of the larger things placed. Alright, so here's pretty much what the larger details are going to look like in this area. So we have our warehouse and office right here with this little back alleyway and some parking right in front of the office and a good bit of parking all the way out here with a few for some trucks. So I think all we have left to do is just sort of populate the area with a lot of the smaller details and goods, and then we can head over to Jackson and start detailing that area. Alright, and after doing a good amount of detailing, I think we're pretty much at the point where I'm happy to leave it how it is. So just coming through here quick, we have all of our cargo storage on this side of the tracks with this crane that probably loads and unloads the train. So we have a bunch of other random stuff over here, sort of some dumpsters, some fuel, and then we come around to the parking lot and some trucks, parking spots, and then over here is just sort of some auxiliary storage, some small stuff to sort of match what's going on with the building over here. And then we have our warehouse with the loading docks, the parking in front here, and then this little back alleyway. And then of course we have this little sign right here where it would probably display the manufacturer. So I'm pretty happy with how this area turned out. I think it actually came out very well considering the sort of terrain restrictions that we've had. So with that, let's move over to Jackson and work over on that end. So figuring out what to do over here is going to be a little bit different because this is going to be mainly receiving goods instead of shipping them out, so there probably won't be much area for storage and random clutter. It'd probably be more of a warehouse office for like a distribution center, and then a truck station that would then send those goods into the city. So anyway, let's just expand our road so that we get a sort of pretty nice division here. I believe that's straight. It almost looks a little bit crooked. Maybe let's just try redrawing this real quick and see if we can get something that looks a little straighter. Well, anyway, we've fixed this road, even if there was nothing to fix, but now we can get into filling in this area with warehouses and other large buildings that we're going to use right now. Alright, so here's sort of roughly what this area is going to look like. We have the buildings placed down and a bunch of the asphalt laid out. We also have this truck station. So I don't know if we'll add much more to this besides all the small details, but I think in the future I do want to turn this area into maybe a truck depot that sort of looks really nice and fits in this area, and then maybe filling in these areas between the road and the station could be just a lot of like storage stuff for the goods that are coming in. But anyway, let's get on to detailing this, and then we should be able to connect up our goods to the city of Jackson. Alright, so I think this is where we're going to leave it off for now. I think once we get other goods coming in by train, we can start to add some more variety to what we see laying around here, and maybe some stuff over here. But I think this is a fairly good size for now, and sets us up with a good base for future expansion as that comes in and as we need it. So anyway, let's get a train starting on this track and then set up some trucks to head into the city of Jackson. So for now, we're just going to get a quick train depot placed somewhere over here, and then we can just bring that over and attach it like so. Eventually I will delete a lot of these random train depots that we have sort of laying around, and we'll have sort of one centralized train depot, or maybe a few large ones spread out across the map, where it'll be connected up to our whole network, and we don't have to keep doing this to get trains out. Alright, so this is the train that we're going to roll with for now. It is a 412-2 Class 9000. It's fairly expensive, but it can pull a bunch of cars at a fairly good speed too. We don't really have to worry about it slowing down at all. So let's go with one of these for now, since it's pretty large capacity, and then we'll have it come from all the way up there down into our city of Jackson. However, first, I forgot we need to set up our tracks. So let's get a crossover point here, and then come out and do another one over here by the goods factory. And then we'll quickly throw some signals on here, and then we should be good for our train. Alright, so we got our signals placed, and now we can take a look at what our train looks like. I'm really liking this train. I think it'll do pretty good, hopefully. And we probably won't see it full for quite a little bit, since the demand in Jackson is fairly new. If we click here, yeah, it looks like we just lost those goods again. So we might have to wait for it to pop back up and then quickly get on it as soon as it pops up, so we can start building up those industries in this city. Alright, so it looks like Jackson is now able to receive goods. So let's come in here with our truck unload stop, and let's find where that one building is that needs goods. So it looks like those goods are needed right here, which we already have a truck station for. We will have to keep an eye out though, because we do already have 2 lines coming to this truck station, so we don't want to overload it with trucks and start blocking traffic. But anyway, we can start to get some trucks running that will bring those goods into the city of Jackson. So I think we'll continue using these Ford trucks to move some of our goods, and these will go from this truck station into Jackson down to that unload stop. And we should specify for this line, we want it to only pick up goods. So we can see here under the goods factories for consumers, Jackson is in there. It is very low. Currently it says it's at 1. So we might not see any goods pop up here for a little bit until the city recognizes how many goods it needs, and then for that to move up the chain to the goods factory, and then for everything to adjust to the proper production speed. But I think everything is set up, and really now at the goods factory it looks like plastics is what's holding us up. So I do believe we have these old trucks running on our plastics line, so let's just simply upgrade these to something quicker. Let's go with these Benz tarpaulin trucks just for some variety. They have the same top speed, so there shouldn't really be an issue there, as it looks like we aren't shipping enough plastics anyway. So hopefully I'll help offset the balance with these faster trucks. But I think that's pretty much going to be all that we're going to do in this video. So with that, if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.